So this afternoon, slight change of tack. I'm going to start talking now about some of the CDs that mean the most to me in my collection. As I say, in no particular order. So today we're going to start with, I suppose you'd call it a grunge metal classic from the early 90s. And it really is a classic, it's superb. This is Alice in Chains, Dirt, from 1992. As I say, it really is a superb record, superb CD, whatever you want to call it. It's the second effort from the band, and what an effort. It really is stunning. I wouldn't call it grunge. A lot of people call this band grunge, and I get why, because they came out around about the same time, and they've kind of got a grungy look to them, a grungy feel to them. But this particular record, to me, is much more metallic. So I suppose I would make up my own ridiculous pigeonhole and call it grunge metal. I think if it was pure grunge, then it would be a little bit more, possibly a little bit more laid back. And there's nothing really laid back about this record. Not really. Anyway, I remember seeing it in a second-hand store. This was way after it came out, about 4 or 5 years after it came out. I was aware of the band, I was aware of the album. The cover always impressed me because obviously, you know, it was originally released as vinyl as well, and so I was always impressed with that sleeve. Excellent photography. And so I thought, I'll get this. It's not expensive. It's how much was it? I don't know, a couple of quid, $2.99, something like that, in a second-hand store. I'll get it. It's in good condition because it was a store you could actually look at the CD before you purchased it, without even having to ask them. They just left them in the case. So I thought, this is not much of a risk. I'll get this. It's bound to be good. And of course, it's absolutely excellent. So who do we have in the band? It's a lineup that didn't stay together that long. During the tour to promote Dirt, it basically fell to pieces a little bit. So we have obviously Layne Staley, Jerry Cantrell, Mike Starr on bass, and Sean Kinney on drums. Now it's that rhythm section that I really think adds something very special to this record and make it a very special record. The themes are very dark, but it's not a dark experience putting this on for however long it is, 50 minutes, whatever it is. It's not a very dark experience. You don't feel pummeled and battered and exhausted and emotionally drained after listening to it, but I gather it must have been a difficult experience recording it. Listening to it is quite a cathartic experience. It kind of makes you feel there is hope, even though lyrically there really isn't. It's very dark. Drug addiction, antisocial behaviour, crime, war are some of the topics tackled within the lyrics of Dirt. The album, that is, not just the song. And it's funny because in America at the time, the whole Rodney King thing was kicking off, and Cantrell and Layne Staley did actually witness some very unpleasant incidents. In fact, the day they started recording, they decided to hit it on the head and go and live in the desert for a few days just to get away from it all. So you can tell how serious it was. I mean, people were being attacked just for driving down the road and all sorts of things going on. It was a really hostile, angry time to be around. So they eventually got back to LA and started recording this dark classic record. So what's on it? Well, we have Them Bones, Damn That River, Rain When I Die, Sick Man. These are all classics. As soon as you say these titles, you're already hearing the songs in your head. It's just superb. And it's hard to write songs like that. Rooster, which probably is my favourite. I do love Rooster. It stays with you forever, Rooster. It's the song that keeps on giving. A Junkhead, Dirt itself, Godsmack, Hate to Feel, Angry Chair, Down in a Hole, and then it finishes with that beautiful, beautiful intro on guitar for the song Wood. And that's a great way to finish a record because it leaves you wanting more. Now, there's not many records that leave you almost gasping for more. It's kind of addictive, this record, which is kind of ironic because a lot of it is about addiction. So, how did this thing do in the old charts? Well, it did very well. It sold 5 million in America alone. So in the actual chart positions, not that it really matters, but it's kind of interesting to look at. US Billboard number 6. As far as Britain, number 42. So we did embrace the band because I remember them coming over and there was a lot of talk about them, their performances, etc. in a good way. And we did embrace this new band. Towards they were new anyway. But 42 is not a massive return. Europe seemed to embrace it, the European continent, places like Finland again, Sweden, also Australia did quite well in Australia. And yeah, so 5 million copies sold in America alone. Now, reviewers absolutely loved this. In fact, I can't find a bad review about this record. They said it was probably the best thing they ever did. And they said it was also probably one of the greatest grunge albums. In fact, not just grunge, but one of the greatest heavy rock albums of all time. And that's difficult to argue with, because it is absolutely superb. Heard it again last night, and it's just brilliant. Personally, I'd love to get the vinyl, because I know that's going to sound even better. And I think that's the way a lot of these songs should be heard. On vinyl, in a pair of decent headphones. So have you heard Dirt by Alice in Chains? I'm sure you have. But if you haven't, or you've not heard it for a long time, treat yourself and get it on the old turntable or spinning round at 500 RPM or whatever a disc spins at. Because it is a brilliant, brilliant record. So that is Alice in Chains, Dirt, from 1992.